When Pokemon Snap was released in 1999, it was a phenomenon unlike any other. It surpassed over 1.5 million sales and featured a clever blockbuster tie-in that let you print your pictures at retail stores. Fast forward 12 years later, and we've finally gotten a sequel to it with the appropriately titled New Pokemon Snap. On paper, this sequel makes so much sense. It makes use of Nintendo Switch's gyroscope controls for taking pictures, the built-in album application lets you share your photos online, and with the new hardware, Pokemon have never looked this good. Let's see if the long wait for this was worth it. But before we jump into this review, let's make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to stay up to date whenever I put out a new review. With all that said, let's jump into this review starting with story. Pokemon Snap follows a similar storyline to those found in the mainline RPG games. You're a young Pokemon, not a trainer, but a researcher, who in order to follow your dreams goes to a local Pokemon professor. Where things change is you're not capturing Pokemon with a Pokeball, you're instead capturing their picture, helping Professor Mirror. This all takes place in the Lentau region, where Professor Mirror and their assistant Rita are researching the reported occurrence of glowing Pokemon and vegetation. Equipped with the fancy new communicator camera, you embark on a research journey to investigate what exactly is going on in the Lentau region, and of course, learning about Pokemon along the way. While it's not the most riveting story in a Pokemon game, I was happy to see it get a backstory at all, and to my surprise, have it still connect to the original Pokemon Snap in some shape or fashion. I won't disclose how, but for those of you that did play the first game, rest assured you'll find a few references regarding your first Poketography adventure. For those that played the original Pokemon Snap, this new iteration will feel very familiar. Playing as Professor Mirror's new assistant, we along with our newly equipped camera, go on expeditions across the different sections of the Lentau region. Following the same on-rail approach as the original, we travel along a predetermined path for every level. We see various Pokemon live out their day, whether it's a Magikarp swimming in a pond or a Caterpie snacking on some fruit. It follows that classic feel of the original game while further developing on the core mechanics. For example, you'll get your traditional daytime levels, but now some levels also include a nighttime level that not only changes the lighting in the level, but also the characteristics of the Pokemon. A Hoot that might be asleep during the day may be the only Pokemon awake in the middle of the night. Changing the different Pokemon variations throughout multiple levels kept me coming back for more, and only further improved on the issue found in the original game, feeling repetitive. Instead, New Pokemon Snap actively incentivizes you to keep playing levels over and over again, but still gives you new content to keep it feeling fresh. Aside from the night and daytime levels, as you take pictures, you'll earn XP that levels up said level. Raising the research levels for individual levels changes up the characteristics of those levels. For example, a Pichu that's scared of you at research level 1 in the forest level may begin to warm up to hanging out around you in research level 2. As I leveled up research levels and unlocked new regions, I'd come back to the lab to return my photos and receive a bit of lore from the conversations with Rita and the professor. I think I ended up loving it a bit too much because by the time I had beaten the game in about 15 hours, I was left wanting more after the Research Level 3 completion. There are some additional missions that come in the form of requests from the NPCs. These can be viewed as challenges and while fun to tackle, don't offer the same excitement as leveling up your research levels. They do at least unlock filters and editing tools to have fun editing your photos when you share them online. Speaking of which, you can save your photos to your Switch's internal storage to share them online via social media. While the integration is nice, I would have loved to have been able to share photos directly with my friends, or have some sort of social feed of my friends posting all their photos within my game. I'll be the first to admit it that mainline Pokemon games haven't really set the bar too high, but regardless, New Pokemon Snap is the best looking modern Pokemon game out right now. And this isn't just in regards to the gameplay resolution and the frame rate, but so much more on the animation work and the representation of these Pokemon. The new Pokemon and New Pokemon Snap truly feel like wild animals filled with their own personality and characteristics that ultimately make this world feel a lot more realistic. It's something that Pokemon Go tackled a bit, but up until recently has felt a bit ignored in the mainline Pokemon games, at least in my eyes. Seeing the reaction of Pokemon as they snack on fruit or just live in their natural habitat feels special and rare, which at this point in the franchise is. In the same way that going to a zoo doesn't do seeing an animal in the wild justice, the Pokemon RPG doesn't do it either, but Pokemon Snap does, and that's where a lot of the presentation's charm lies. In regards to performance, New Pokemon Snap runs at 1080p in dock mode and 720p in handheld mode. Both look great whether playing on my Nintendo Switch Lite in bed or fully displaying the Pokemon on my 4K TV. I was enthralled by the magic of seeing all these cute Pokemon in their natural habitat. Sadly, despite the resolution getting maxed out, Pokemon Snap does suffer from a case of the jaggies, especially on objects further away. When it comes to frame rate, New Pokemon Snap targets 30 frames per second and does a pretty good job at hitting it. Some optimization drawbacks are made, like lowering the frame rate from really far away Pokemon, and the occasional frame rate dip like when this Warlord shows up. While all noticeable, it never felt all that distracting, nor did it take me out of the moment of just seeing a giant Pokemon on screen in the first place. What I do wish would have been added regarding visuals and presentation was a bit more customization. From the get-go, we're able to customize our character from a few select presets, but it's incredibly vanilla and lacks any features. Later on, we're told that we have our own space within the laboratory, and I would have loved to have been able to decorate that, but immediately I was made aware it's just a sub-menu in the game, where I can look at some photos that I took. In many ways, new Pokemon Snaps would trick me into thinking it would have more customization features, only to pull the rug from underneath me and leave me wanting more. I was a big fan of the original Pokemon Snaps music. It had this charm that's never really been replicated in any other Pokemon game, and sadly that's still true. New Pokemon Snap soundtrack isn't bad, it's just different. There's a few orchestrated pieces that are upbeat and fun, but not necessarily all that catchy. To this day, I have the funky Professor Oak's lamp theme from the first game memorized, and there's just nothing all that memorable for me here. What I will applaud the sequel for is the performance work by the cast. While the game isn't fully voiced, I was surprised by just how much of it was. It made me hopeful that perhaps future games could learn a thing or two from this. The sound design for Pokemon, including the atmospheric tones of the environments, are also well done. I noticed especially in the nighttime levels, due to how quiet everything was, that's where a lot of these more intricate sound design choices truly shine. The long wait for a new Pokemon Snap has been treacherous, but in many ways was worth it. By far, a new Pokemon Snap is visually the best looking Pokemon game on modern platforms, with so much personality and characters on display at all times. It truly makes the world of Pokemon come to life, which ultimately feels like what a lot of fans want. The addition of new gyroscope controls, fun puzzles to solve, and plenty of incentives to replay levels are great. However, I would have loved to see more ways to share my photos with my friends directly through my Switch and not just social media. The scoring system can at times still make no sense in how one picture is scored better than another one, which at this point almost feels like a staple of the series. Nevertheless, new Pokemon Snap is a worthwhile game that Pokemon fans are sure to love, despite its minor caveats. Thank you so much for watching my review. If you liked the video, then let me know with a thumbs up and a comment down below. Did you ever play the original Pokemon Snap? And if so, did you ever get to print out your picture at a Blockbuster? I actually showed off my original copy from when I was 4 on Twitter, so if you're not following me there, be sure to check it out. Anyway, I gotta get back to playing Returnal. That'll be the next review you see on this channel, but until then, I'll talk to you in the comments down below or over on the Discord server. You can join with the link in the description.